Hey guys, in this video we're going to make a simple wire wrapped coffin shaped crystal. Perfect for Halloween craft. We've looped our wire around to form a net holding our crystal secure. We're using a 30 by 20 millimeter coffin shaped crystal. You can actually use this same technique to wrap other shapes of crystals as well, like this crystal ball here, but it's perfect for shells and pebbles as well, so really good technique to learn. We're using 2 jump rings for our design and also 24 gauge wire. We're using about 80 centimeters for our coffin shaped crystal. Obviously this length will vary if you wrap something a lot bigger or smaller. Now to start our wire wrap, we're going to wrap the end of our wire around the jump ring a couple of times to secure it nice and tight. I'm using the 7 millimeter jump ring for this top loop on my wrap, and just working with my wire and pliers to wrap it around a couple of times. Nice and tight and tidy, bringing it around and through the jump ring so it's a secure connection. Crimping those loops together so it looks nice and tidy on the jump ring. And then once you're happy with it, we can cut this tail off nice and short and crimp it in tight so there's no sharp edges. Taking your time to make sure you're happy with this jump ring and the connection of your wire. Once you're really happy with it, then we can start wrapping. Now I always work around the jump ring towards the left. So bringing the end of our wire and taking it down the jump ring and then bringing it over the loop of wire. Gently pulling it in so it's a nice small loop, right up close to the jump ring. Once it's small, you can gently pull the wire downwards, and that sort of locks that loop in place. Now working towards the left on our jump ring, with the end of our wire again coming down the jump ring and then bringing the wire on top of the loop. Working it down so it's quite nice and small. Once you're happy with the size, bring that wire downwards to lock it in place. Now I aim for 4 loops on this first layer, so just keep working your way towards the left around your jump ring, bringing that wire down and then over the loop of wire, gently pulling the loop down nice and small. As you do this more, you'll start to notice how big or small you want your loops. But generally I start off quite small at the top here and get a bit bigger as I go down the wrap. You really can custom make the loops on these wraps to fit a range of different shapes of crystals or shells inside. So this is going to be our 4th wrap on our jump ring. So gently bringing that down the jump ring and over the loop, making sure no bends form in your wire or it can create a weak spot. So gently working that wire through to work the loop smaller and then pull the wire downwards to lock it in place. Now you can tweak things a little bit if you need to with some round nose pliers, and you can sort of slide these loops along the jump ring a little bit if you need to. They sort of look like petals on a flower, and they need to be big enough so that we can thread our wire through for the next layer. So working towards the left still, we're going to take the end of our wire down that first loop. Same technique again, down the loop and over the wire. Bringing that down to form another small loop. Once it's nice and small, bringing that wire down to lock that loop in place. Now we just continue doing another 4 loops on this second layer as well, working our way around, placing it down into the middle of the loop on the previous layer. Trying to keep our loops on each layer about the same size, and just working your way around to the left until you've got another layer of loops. And pulling that wire down to lock it in place after each loop. Once you've done a few loops, you can start trying it onto your coffin shaped crystal or whatever you're wrapping. So you can start to see how that wrap looks on your crystal and start working and bending these wires onto the shape. And this helps you figure out how big you want your loops to be moving forwards. Now we just continue with the same technique, working towards the left around our wrap, bringing the wire down each loop, working it nice and small, and then pulling that wire down to lock it in place. It's a good idea to check the size of your wire wrap against your crystal in between each layer of loops. As you come down, you can see I've started to do some slightly bigger loops, and also the shape of my crystal gets bigger and then smaller again, so my loops will also get bigger and then smaller again, and that will help to hold it secure. Once we're about halfway like this, it's best to leave the crystal inside the wrap, and then you can wrap the second half of your wrap holding that crystal secure. So just keep tweaking it as you go, continuing our same technique, working towards the left and making our loops. The loops seem to naturally sort of get smaller towards the bottom, so just keep going all the way down until your crystal is held nice and secure inside the wrap. Just make sure none of the loops are big enough that your crystal can fall out. Once you've come right down underneath your crystal and you've brought those loops in nice and close together, then we just cut this tail off and, working with our pliers, bend that wire around to wrap it under one of those other wire loops, aiming for a couple of loops around to lock it in place. Making sure it's wrapped around nice and tight and tidy and there's no sharp edges. Now you can take your time and work over your whole wire wrap. Make sure it's all sitting nice and evenly and how you want it. You can adjust the loops and move them a little bit as well until you're happy with it. Then we can place our other jump ring on. So just opening it up with your pliers and placing it through the jump ring on your wire wrap. Then you can thread it onto a chain or twine. So there's your wire wrapped coffin shaped crystal.